everyone, DPX here. Welcome back to another series, show, TV review. Today I am reviewing Knuckles on Paramount Plus, the spin-off of the Sonic movies. Before we get into it though, you know what to do. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell, leave a comment, or I will steal your power. So to give some background, I really like the Sonic games. You know, I feel like I have a bit more of a love-hate relationship. When I was a kid, I was obsessed with them, but like, I feel like it's not too common we get good ones, at least like lately. And I don't know, they're kind of all over the place, but I consider myself a Sonic fan. Maybe not a diehard, but a Sonic fan. And I really enjoy the two Sonic movies that we got. Sonic 1 was way better than it had any right being, from what I remember. When you consider like how much people hated the reveal. And then Sonic 2 was just as good, if not maybe even a bit better. And when they announced that they were doing a spin-off focused on Knuckles, who by the way is my personal favorite Sonic character, they're doing a spin-off based off of Knuckles, I was really excited. I knew they weren't gonna like, you know, adapt anything necessarily from the show or from the games, because like Knuckles only had one game ever, and I didn't think they were gonna adapt that. I was like, alright, an original series basically. Or not, it's not an original series, but like an original story that they're telling. Let's see what they got. And I will say, Idris Elba as Knuckles is fantastic. Whoever thought of that casting should get a raise, because like Knuckles, I feel like, was the best part of this show, as he should be, because it's a Knuckles show, but I'll get into why that was worth bringing up in a bit. But his voice performance just like, it's great. I love it. And it's really cool that we get to have a show like this where, like, you know, it's a spin-off of the movies, and you have a star from the movie voicing the character he plays in the movie in the show. You know what I mean? I also like the soundtrack. They used songs that I think fit, you know? Then it was cool. But here's the thing most people are talking about when it comes to this show, and that is, it's not really a Knuckles show. It's about a character named Wade Whipple. Wade Whipple is this like cop who is in this universe, but he's also like trying out as a bowler. He's trying to win a bowling tournament, and then Knuckles kind of takes Wade under his wing. When it balances Knuckles and Wade, you know, like the first two episodes and the finale, I feel like balanced the two very well. Like, when we get the balance, I think it is, I think it's fine, it's enjoyable. The problem is they don't always balance it that well. It feels like, I don't want to say like 90%, even 80%, but I feel like 70, 75 maybe even % of this show is about Wade. Knuckles feels like a side character in a show called Knuckles. And as someone who's really looking forward to this, as someone who's a big fan of Sonic, a big fan of Knuckles, and whose favorite part of the Sonic movie 2 was Knuckles, and it's just disappointing, I feel. Wade's not like a terrible character, you know. They set him up to have this arc, you know, and you know, you are kind of behind him, and they establish him as kind of like a loser. I think you do feel bad for him, but at the same time, he's a bit pathetic, to be honest. You know, not too much to where like he's unlikable. Maybe some of that stuff is the case with his family, with his sister, for example, who they hired, like, they cast like a comedian, and it just sounds like she's riffing a lot. Not really that funny. But I thought Wade was a fine character. He was perfectly fine, but like, a show about him is not something I signed up for. Another thing I didn't like so much is the humor. You know, obviously the Sonic movies, and by extension Knuckles, is geared towards kids. But the Sonic movie was never like lowbrow, childish Nickelodeon humor. It always felt like they tried to balance the humor in the movies. We get a fart joke here and there. Sonic would floss here and there, but overall, the movies feel like movies that adults can enjoy just as much as kids. This one feels just very, like, just silly. You know what I mean? Like I mentioned, Wade could be a bit, like, just a bit too much of a loser, but then I backtracked on that. It's not really the writing of him, it's just the writing of the humor. You know, he's at times just written to be such a dumbass, and it's just like, alright, come on. Like, I don't know, the humor in this kind of feels like what I was afraid the first Sonic movie was gonna do. You know what I mean? And another thing, the worst part of those Sonic movies was the human stuff. You know, you're not really, like, you don't care too much about the human characters. You care more about Sonic and Knuckles and Tails. So, when you make the show primarily about a human, it's not really that interesting, I feel. You know, I'm making this sound like I hate the Knuckles series, and I don't. You know, there is much worse. Paramount Plus alone has another video game adaptation, Halo, 10 times worse than this. Way worse than this. It's a perfectly watchable show, and it's not really that bad, but it's just disappointing. You know, you go in for a Knuckles show and you finish with a Wade show, you know? And again, Wade's a fine character, but he's not really a character I want to watch a 6-episode miniseries on. It was fun and it was enjoyable, but it was the humor was a little too childish for me, and again, it's not really a Knuckles show. In the end, I'm going to give Knuckles a 6 out of 10. So that's my review of the Knuckles series. Bit disappointing, but again, I feel like you can do a whole lot worse. I mostly talked about my issues, but otherwise there's not really much to say about this show, if I'm going to be honest. But what do you guys think about Knuckles? Do you guys like it, not like it? Have you guys seen it, not seen it? If you guys haven't seen it, you guys want to see it, not want to see it? Anything about the show, let me know down below. Anyways, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, or I will steal your power.